welcome back to my channel. I'm Sarah. I'm a registered dietitian, creator, and artist, and I wanted to talk to you today a little bit about virtual FNCE. So in this video, I'm going to be talking a little bit about virtual FNCE 2020 and giving you a few of my opinions and thoughts and kind of walking you through the platform to give you an idea of what it was like and what we can potentially expect for this year. I also want to say before I get too far into this video that this is not sponsored or endorsed by the Academy or FNCE in any way, shape, or form. For anyone unfamiliar with FNCE, it's the Food and Nutrition Conference and Expo sponsored by the Academy of Nutrition and Dietetics. They have one every year, but last year, due to the pandemic, they moved everything to virtual instead of having a big, massive in-person event. My hope for this video is that anyone who's considering going to FNCE and didn't get a chance to go last year, this will kind of give you an idea of what the platform looks like. I know it's a lot different than going to a in-person event. I never went to an in-person FNCE. Last year was my very first one. And I'd love to know, if you attended FNCE in 2020, what were your thoughts on the virtual event? Was it worth it? Was it not worth it? What did you like? What did you not like? Share some of your thoughts in the comment section below. So if you're not a dietitian or nutrition professional, you're probably not interested in this video in the slightest. Fair enough. So I'll catch you in the next video. But if you're interested in hearing about last year's event and getting an idea of what to expect for this year's event, let's get into it. So I figured we'd start out with just looking at the platform itself. By the way, these are screen recordings that I did last year during the event, and I'm glad I did that because once the event concluded, there are certain features of the live event that are no longer available. So this is what it looked like during the actual event. And again, I haven't been to an actual in-person FNCE, so I don't know how this compares as far as like how things are laid out and organized within the event space. So I don't have anything to compare it to. This is just kind of my walkthrough of it. So as soon as you log in, you are greeted with this conference lobby looking screen. And there are a bunch of different rooms that you can go into. Right in the center, you start off with the education theater, and then above that is a kind of greeting welcome video that you can watch. On the left, you see help desk, honors and awards, expo hall, agenda builder. And then on the right hand side, there are what they call lounges. There's the learning lounge, the attendee lounge, and the student lounge. Then on the top right, there's Academy Avenue, poster sessions, and build your profile. So we can click through each of these. So on the Expo Theater, this is where all of the live sessions take place. So it's like the main theater. So once you're in the theater, you can see like on the top, there's Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday. So they have different sessions on each of those days. You click through each of those days and you can find which sessions you'd like to attend. Once they've already played, they show up as watch on demand, and if you are watching it live, it shows you like a countdown until when it starts, and then if it's currently live, and you know, those little indicators change. So during the live presentations, it automatically shows up in this kind of 4-panel window. At the bottom of the window, there's 6 buttons. If you, let's say you close one of those windows, because each of them is their own individual thing, you can reopen them using those buttons at the bottom. There's one for, I believe, refresh. There's the presentation button, the slides button, the chat button, and the Q&A button. The second from the last button on the right, I believe that one is to pull up any other like handouts or things like that. So you can enlarge them, shrink them, close them out, etc., and kind of move them around to how you want to view it. The one thing I thought, all this real estate kind of in the background where, you know, when you open it up, it's these 4 panels and you have all this space at the bottom. If they could potentially use all of this space for basic navigation instructions. So if you need to, if you accidentally close out a window, just click on the buttons at the bottom. Each of these buttons do X, Y, Z. Maybe some individuals attending might benefit from a little bit more guidance on how to navigate the platform if they're not familiar with it. So that's how the theater works. And then coming back out into the lobby, you have the expo hall, which has basically all the different companies that have booths at the event. And so you can click through each of those and kind of visit their virtual booths. And then coming back out into the lobby, you can go to Honors and Awards, you can go to Help Desk, Agenda Builder, Attendee Lounge. So like if you're just an attendee and you want to go in there and chat with other attendees, you can go in there and do that. It shows your little face icons on the right hand side, and then you have the chat. I didn't use those very much, mostly because if everyone is in there having separate conversations, it gets a little bit chaotic. And then build your profile. So that opens up your personal profile. So this is viewable to other attendees. I believe you can set what is viewable and what's not. Within that, it shows all of your badges on the right-hand side. So during the event, visiting booths, chatting during live sessions, doing various tasks gets you these badges. And then at the end, I think they selected like the top badge achiever or something like that to win some prize. I don't know. I don't remember what it was, but it's just something to kind of get you engaged and participating in the event. So coming back out to the lobby and then going to poster sessions. I found that I didn't explore the poster sessions really at all, mostly because I didn't know what to search for specifically. And I didn't feel like the browse by like date, track, course, title, present. I didn't feel like those were helpful ways to browse. So I'd love for them to figure out a different way to organize the posters. I did like the poster sessions in the sense that you can click on it, it opens up the poster session, and it has, the presenters had the option of recording a little presenting their poster, which I thought was cool. So I did like the way that they formatted that. I just didn't feel like it was an easy way to find a poster that you were interested in. So for example, I just clicked on one so you can see it shows the learning objective of the poster, the presenter, their title, where they're from, what times that they're going to be, I guess, coming into chat about it. You see on the right underneath the little thumbnail of the poster, it says has audio, so you can click on that and then listen to the audio that they recorded about their presentation. So you click view e-poster, you can download a PDF, you can print it, you can go full screen, play through their audio. Yeah. So I wanted to talk a little bit about the cost breakdown for the 2020 event versus what's expected for the 2021 event, and then compare those to the in-person events. Basically, cost breakdown for 2020, I can't find it anywhere. I do know that the student early bird rate last year was $85, and then it went up to $105, which is what I paid, and then I think it went up again when it got really close to the event. For active members, the early bird rate that I found was $195. A dietitian on one of the Facebook groups said that they paid $195, but I don't know how it went up from there. And then the cost for 2021 is a bit higher jump, especially for me because last year I got the student rate, so I only paid $105. As an active professional, this year I'm going to have to pay $225, and that's the early bird rate. So that's already $30 higher than the active member rate last year. For students, it's still $85, and then it goes up to $105, and then up to $115 as it gets closer to the event. So you can get the early bird rate until August 31st. So if you're going to do it, I would jump on it. And then to compare those virtual rates to the 2019 rates, the registration fees that I found for, I'll just look at active member first. So active member early bird rate for the full week was $395. Closer to the event, it went up to $485. So even the highest rate, $265 compared to $485, that's a lot more affordable. Plus you're not paying for travel and lodging and all those things that you would pay for if you were going to an in-person event. So I think there are definitely benefits to the virtual event. It's still expensive. $225 is a lot, and I'm still a little bit undecided about whether or not I'm going to attend this year's FNCE. I'm leaning towards yes, because I feel like I'd like to see where they go from last year's event. I want to see if they really step it up from last year. I was really impressed with, again, having not been to an in-person event previously, I don't know what to compare it to, but I think in the short amount of time that they had to put this event together, I thought it was actually pretty good. I expected a lot more like presentations going down and technical issues, and there were some, but it went a lot smoother than I thought. And so for the student rate of $105, I definitely found it worth it. It's just a little bit hard to swallow $225. That's a little bit more. But if you're a student and you can swing the $85 now, definitely think it's worth it. Student members back in 2019 for the in-person event, that was $235 for the full week, and then it went up to $310 closer to the event. So $300, $200 to $300 versus $85. I definitely say, you know, if you want to attend a FNCE, then do it. Plus, you get to attend from the comfort of your own home. You can chill in sweatpants and still network professionally. So I hope that was helpful to see kind of what the FNCE platform looked like in 2020 and kind of give you an idea if you didn't attend last year, what to expect for this year. I tried to put together a little bit of a pros and cons list just from my own experience. For myself, I found it convenient and kind of relaxed to just be able to attend FNCE from home. I didn't have to go anywhere, didn't have to get dressed up. I could just chill in my sweatpants and get CPEUs, which is great. Here's some live footage of me at FNCE 2020 in the convenience of my own home. There was no stress of like travel and lodging, and you don't have to pay for travel and lodging and meals and that sort of thing. So it's in that way less expensive than the in-person version. Also really easy to meet people and find them. So on the platform, you can just look somebody up and send them a message and then connect with them immediately. So I liked that aspect of it. And obviously you can get a lot of CPEUs really quick, really easy. So I think for me, that's the main draw, is being able to knock out a bunch of CPEUs real fast in one event. And then for 2020, we had access for a full year to the platform. So we have access until October of this year. So moving into some of the cons of the event, they are only allowing access until May 31st of 2022. So I think like 7 or 8 months of access. I don't know what their reasoning is behind that, but it's probably just a lot of, a whole year of site maintenance that they don't necessarily want to have to deal with. I don't know. There's also no refunds for this event. So if you buy it during the early bird time now, and then it gets closer to the event and you're like, I don't have time for this, you can't get a refund. The plus side is that you do have access to the virtual platform for 7 months. So kind of have to weigh that and see if it works for you. Another con is that even though it is less expensive than the in-person version, it's still kind of expensive. I think students have obviously the best deal, so if you can swing that $85 now before August 31st, then go for it. I missed the early bird last year and paid $105, but I still think it was worth it. So another downside to virtual FNCE is that you're missing out on face-to-face networking and face-to-face interaction and kind of that hustle and bustle of an expo center, if that's what you're into. Myself being a little bit more introverted, that I could go without. So that's why I personally kind of prefer the virtual platform and hope that they continue with this in the future. Another downside is that it's not as easy to get like free items from booths. I had to submit my email in order to get free samples for things, and it took several weeks, if not like a couple months, to get them, because obviously they have to, collect everybody's information, package it, and mail it, and so that takes time. You don't get that instant gratification of like going up to a booth and being able to walk away with something. So if that's a big draw for you, probably not going to get that same experience from the virtual FNCE. Another thing is the quirks of the webinars going down. There were some, and it wasn't a frequent thing. There was like a yoga session that was supposed to happen at like 6 a.m. I think it took a couple days for them to get it to work for some reason. And then I think one of my presentations that I was watching, there was something that happened and the presentation went down, and I just went over to the help desk link, and people had already asked like, oh, is this thing, happening right now? It's down. And they're like, okay, we're working on it, blah, blah, blah. And they just kind of kept you updated there. So it's nice that you can instantly just click a button and go to help desk and find out what's going on. But being virtual, things are going to go down and yada, yada. The plus side though, of course, is that you'll have 7 months to watch it if you missed it on that first day. So I'm curious to know know if you will be attending Virtual FNCE this year, and if so, what's the draw for you? And if you're not going, what is not the draw for you? Like, why don't you want to go? I'm still kind of on the fence, but I have just a few days left to decide, whether I want the early bird, if I want to get that early bird price. But I do want to see, because the price has gone up since last year, what are they doing this year to kind of step it up from last year? Because it did seem like I don't know the exact timeline of things, but from, they're planning these events so far ahead, how much time it took them to put together the platform that we experienced last year. I'm just curious what they're stepping it up to this year, having had, a whole year to prepare for it this year. So I'm hoping it's going to be better than last year. If it's not, I'm going to be disappointed. But I'm hopeful that it will be better than last year. And again, myself being the kind of personality that I am, I prefer the virtual platform as opposed to in person. Not just pandemic related, just in general being an introvert. Let me know in the comments below what you think about Virtual FNCE, if you're attending, if you're not attending. I'd love to know your thoughts on it, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye!